Men are waking up. They've had enough. They're tired of being used, lied to, disrespected and drained. Modern love has become a battlefield where men are expected to bleed and just smile through it all like nothing's wrong. Well, enough is enough, isn't it? These are the 5 brutal truths why men are walking away and not even looking back. So let's get into it. The first brutal truth is a controversial one. Some men will simply not want to look after or take on other people's children. Of course, some men will do, and kudos to them, and it can work out. However, a lot of men are just going to see this as a massive emotional, financial challenge, isn't it? Raising another person's children. And just imagine this as well. You could potentially, get to know the children over 2 or 3 years, form an emotional bond with them, be a good man, be a good person, and this could potentially happen. The relationship could then break down. They could leave you for somebody else. Anything can happen in a relationship. And then all that time and energy, getting to know those children, could be completely thrown out the window because the woman will move on. She might just stay on her own. She might meet somebody else, leaving the man that's taken on someone else's children left in the dark, left on their own. And they could really love and respect those children, but they won't be able to see them anymore after that. So those things are going to go through some men's minds before they get into a relationship. And it's a big challenge and with potential and a big risk with potentially very little reward. So next up, we have brutal truth number 2. Some men are just sick of the financial burden. They don't want to have to pay for somebody else's lifestyle. They find that being in a relationship is really expensive. They're working really hard, for instance, and then all of their money and resources are going into a conditional love type of relationship. So the man just sees it as he's having to pay for the woman's lifestyle. I know this isn't always the case with relationships, but some relationships are like this, where the woman expects the man to pay for most things or maybe even everything. And a lot of men are just thinking, I don't want to do this. This is really expensive. Why should I bother? And also they could potentially feel like this isn't a genuine loving relationship because it's conditional. It's based on what the man can give to the woman. So moving on to harsh truth number 3. Some men are simply sick of being taken advantage of all the time. So what does that mean? Sometimes some women can just basically take advantage of a man's kindness. So they're getting them to do tasks. They're getting them to run errands. In a nutshell, they're manipulating the man to get what they want. And this, if it's done to an extreme, is one-sided, isn't it? It's not. Sometimes these women, they just want what they want. They only care about themselves, and they don't care about the man. They only care about the man when he can offer her something, when he can do something for her. But when the shoe's on the other foot, let's say, the man needs some help, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, does it? Then the woman doesn't reciprocate. So what does that mean? Then it just means that the man is feeling like he's being taken advantage of. He's being used. It's one-sided. It's not good. And this can put men off from being in relationships altogether. So now we've got brutal truth number 4. Some men are just sick of being cheated on. They don't want to. They might have been in a past relationship where they've been cheated on. They've been rejected. And of course, what's that going to feel like? It's going to feel very painful. Trust me, I've been there when I was younger. So I know what it feels like to be cheated on. And I know what rejection feels like. And then that can lead to you basically just thinking, why should I bother? I'm not going to risk putting myself into a relationship. I'm not going to risk being rejected. I'm not going to risk being cheated on. And I know that might not be the healthiest thing to do, but I can understand it. I can definitely understand it. And so a lot of men are just going to think, why should I bother even getting into a relationship? Because I don't want to be cheated. I don't want to feel that pain again. I want to avoid that pain. So the last harsh truth I'm going to mention today is that some men are sick of feeling disrespected. And what does that mean? Sometimes a woman will put the man down, they'll call them names, they'll insult them, and they'll do this in front of the children, which is really bad. They'll do it in front of family, they'll do it in front of friends or whatever. Anything that the man does is never acknowledged, it's never recognised. He could be really trying his best, and she just puts him down all the time. Everything he does is rubbish. Everything he says, everything he does is just ignored, or it's mocked with sarcasm and let's say quote unquote jokes. And this is because to leave the man feeling completely disrespected, not valued whatsoever, and that's not good enough for anyone. However, the reality is that men haven't completely given up on love altogether. They've just given up on the illusion that love no longer serves them. And until dating becomes more mutual again, more and more men will just keep choosing themselves instead. They're going to prefer the peace that solitude can bring rather than being in a potentially tricky relationship, for instance. If anyone's got any other harsh truths to add, I've only mentioned 5 today, by the way, then please comment below. And if this video has resonated with anyone, then please subscribe and join the tribe. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.